And so I titled the email, How I Lost 30 Pounds. And the start of everything was about a year ago. It was around June of 2019. And we're now July, almost into July of 2020. And at that point, I wasn't very happy with the way that I looked. The business was continuing to grow. I was working really hard on it. I was stressed, like trying to really get it to where I wanted it to be. And I remember like just feeling like there was more. And I kind of always feel that. And I don't know if this is the same for you, but if you feel like there's more, then you're not alone. I'm always feeling like there's more. So at this point, I was like, okay, the business is starting to pick up, and I've been like working, and my relationship has already been a really strong area for me ever since I met my husband back in 2013, and that was something that I was like really, really, I felt like I was like working hard towards as well. So like being a nice, secure relationship. And so, when we're thinking about like 3 areas of our life, your health, wealth, and relationships, I feel like I had ticked off relationship. I was in the process of ticking off wealth, but health for me was like a come and go. It was something that I was consistent with. I mean, I was consistent with working out. You guys know if you're following me on Instagram, which you can do at LaTisha Styles TV, you know that I was constantly working out. Like I was going to CrossFit every single day, but the problem was that I had so much stress of building the business that my weight was not where I wanted it to be. For the majority of my life, I have been slim, slender, and I wanted to get strong, and that's what I did. But I also put on a lot of pounds with it. And honestly, it was stress weight. It was a lot of stress weight. It was me feeling like, I had to like be the one, like I had to be the one that made the business work. And there were plenty of conversations that I had with my husband where it was just like, I was fighting for my business and, trying to convince him that it was going to be the vision that I saw of it in my head. And, that was 5 years. Like I started my business back in October 2015. And that was like 5 years of really fighting for it, working hard towards it. And in the process of building my business, I stayed consistent with doing CrossFit. I had started CrossFit back in 2015. And so I was working out, I was lifting weights, but I wasn't eating the way that I needed to eat. For some of you, you might be feeling the same way. It's like there's just so much stress. There's so much on your mind that the last thing that you want to do is think about food, diet, eating healthy, or anything like that. So, hey, Colette. Thank you, Cammie, and thank you, Jacob. I see the comments that are coming in. Hi, Candy. Glad to have you here. And hello, Robert. Thank you for the congratulations. So if you're feeling like that, like, oh, I just feel overwhelmed, like the last thing I want to do is, worry about my food. And for some people, it's gaining weight. Like I have several friends who are obviously interested in gaining weight, putting on muscle. And that's where I am right now. Also, now that I've come down to where I want to be on a body fat percentage, like I'm in the process now of like, okay, let's put on some more weight. Let's put on some more muscle. So I'm not necessarily talking about like everybody needs to lose weight or like everybody needs to focus on their weight. Let me stop recording this. It's more so of you have a goal of where you want to be in an area of your life, whether it's health, wealth, relationships. But for some reason, you haven't focused on it because you're focused on this other area of your life. And what I want to share with you today, and the reason that we're talking about this topic of how to design your lavish life, is that every area of your life gets to be lavish. It's not just the, money. If you're really good with money and you're like, well, money is set for me. It's not just money that gets to be part of your lavish life. It's also your health. It's not just health that gets to be part of your lavish life. It's also your relationships. So if there's one area of your life that you feel like has dropped or has basically you've let go of because you've been focusing on the other areas, I want to share with you my story so that you can be encouraged and know that you can have what you want in all areas of your life. Okay. It's not just the different silos. It's that your entire life. So it was start of 2019 where I decided to make a change. And at that point, I chose to do it on my own. even though I'm a coach and I understand the power of coaching, I was like, it doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to work out and I'm going to eat right. And I did pretty good for the first couple of, I did 3 months. In 3 months, I lost, I think 9 pounds or something like that, or somewhere from 7 to 9 pounds. And I definitely looked a lot better. And it was like I kind of made that first initial push. But in the back of my mind, I knew that that wasn't enough. Like I knew that I still wasn't where I physically saw myself. Like you have a vision of yourself that you see, and that vision is available to you. And I saw that vision of myself. I saw the way that I looked, and what I saw in the mirror it didn't match. And I knew that I could get there, but I just didn't know how. And it took me realizing that I needed to just do what I tell my clients to do, which is hire a coach. Like have a coach, have a mentor, have somebody in place. So after those first couple of months, I did, like I said, I lost a couple of pounds, and then I came to Atlanta to get a body fat scan so that I could see exactly where my starting point was. Cause I was like, okay, great. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep going. I'm doing fine by myself. I came to Atlanta, I got a body fat scan, and I realized that I was so much further away than I even thought, because just on a personal note, the way that my body holds fat, my arms and legs are always slim and slender. So like you can see my arms, the little muscle. My arms and legs are like, I don't hold a lot of fat in my arms and legs. I hold it mostly in my stomach area, and then I also have a little bit of the female fat patterning where I hold it in my thighs, my glutes, and my, my legs. And so I thought that I was a lot closer than I was. And once I got that body fat scan, it was an eye opener. And this is, if you happen to be watching this and you're like thinking about your own business, and if you're not, I want you to think about your business for a second. Once your client has an eye opener moment, an aha moment, that's when they're ready to take action. And that's what happened for me. I got my body fat scan. So if you can share with your client and help them see what the truth is of their current situation, that's when they're going to be inspired to take action. So I got that body fat scan, and I was like, wow, I am a lot further than I thought I was. What that turned into was honestly a couple of months of me just going back to eating whatever I wanted. So when I finally reached out to my coach in September, and let them know that I wanted to get started by October 1st, I had gained back everything that I had lost at the start of that year. So it was essentially like 2019 was essentially like a wash for me in terms of really reaching and hitting my goals. And at that point, I was like, I told my coach, I first, talked to them, and I was like, hey, I need accountability. I need a coach to tell me not only what to do, but to stay on top of me so I actually do it. And I started sending weekly check-ins, meaning I was taking a picture in a bikini every single Friday and sending it off to my coach. And that accountability, like knowing that that person was like expecting that photo, it helped me stay on track. And that's how I was able to just even get started. And as the time went on, I realized that it was going to take me some time. I knew that I had a long road ahead of me. I knew that it was going to be several months. I knew that based on the amount of muscle that I have already, I wasn't going to be able to lose 30 pounds in a month. I wasn't going to be able to lose 30 pounds in 3 months. I wasn't going to be able to lose 30 pounds in even 4 months. So it's easy to like look at other people and look at their success or their journey and compare yourself, but everybody is different. And from a health standpoint, every physical body is different. So I couldn't look at other people who were like, oh, I just lost 10 pounds in a weekend. Like I couldn't do that because I have my body. I already have a good bit of muscle. And so in order for me not to lose my muscle, I had to do it in a more slow and controlled fashion. And so I was in it for the long haul. I was doing cardio almost every day. Towards the end of it, I was doing cardio every day, doing my workouts. I was doing 2 a days. And this is really how I actually lost the weight. It wasn't the cardio. It wasn't the eating right. It wasn't like all the practical stuff. The reason that I actually lost the weight was that I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment. I chose for myself. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to compete by June. It ended up being July because Corona. I'm going to compete in 2020, and I'm going to do it no matter what. And I made that commitment. I chose and I decided, and I chose to stick to my plan no matter what. No matter when I got frustrated, like even today, I got frustrated. I was crying just about an hour or so because this part of the process is just as hard, if not harder, than the process of getting to stage, because I have to slowly bring my calories back up, which means that I'm still not eating everything I want to eat, and I'm still working out, and it's like, it's hard, right? But when you make that commitment, you know you're going to follow through. And having a coach in my corner so that I can honestly like kind of whine to them just a little bit. Having a coach in my corner really, really helps. So, and I want to get to the practical of like what you can do in order to design your life. But I feel like this part of the story is really important, and let me know if this is helpful for you as you're here with me. So, so we were coming into 2000, and so end of 2019, start of 2020, I continued to work out, I continued to, eat right, I continued to do my exercises, all of that, all the stuff that I chose to do. And going back, okay, that's what I wanted to say. Going back, the reason that I even started this journey and started this process was because of a conversation that I had with my mentor. And she said, if you were where you wanted to be in your business, because you've been working so hard all of 2019, like you're getting there, but if you were exactly where you wanted to be in your business, what would the rest of your life look like? And I want to pose that question to you too. If you were exactly where you wanted to be in your business, what would you be doing in the rest of your life? Like, what would the rest of your life look like? And I remember I answered it almost immediately. I was like, I would only be working a couple of hours a day. I would, be spending some time in the gym. I would have a banging body. I would have like time off to travel. I could travel at a moment's notice. And she said, okay, so based on what you just said, based on what you wrote out, based on what you just said, what you just said that you want for when your business is where you want it to be, that's what you need to put in place right now. And that was like a mind-blowing moment for me. And she said, the only way for you to get to the business that you want is to also put into place those other things that you want in your life. So for example, you're saying that when your business is where you want it to be, you will also have the body that you want. You put the body that you want in place now, and your business will be where you want it to be. So when I invited you guys to this training, I promised you that I was going to share a couple of things, 3 simple steps to create exactly what you want in life. And I'm going to get into that in a second. Why your subconscious mind could be holding you back, and for you, how to create your own manifestation process. And I said I was also going to share how choosing my body goal create a higher income in my business. So that's what I'm talking about right now. As soon as I said, okay, well, I've always wanted to get on stage. When I was turning 30, I was like, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life and I'm going to get on stage. And it didn't happen. And then years went by. I'm 37 now. Years went by and I was like, it's just getting further and further away. So if I'm saying that I want this type of body and I want my business to be in this specific place, then I need to start working on my body now. And so I set that goal again. I said, I'm going to be on stage, and I started working on my body goals. As soon as I did that, I had to minimize the number of hours that I was working actually in front of the computer on my business. So before I was working, 5-6 days a week, and I was in the office, maybe 6-7 hours a day on average. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. I brought on an assistant, and that got me down to working to a 2-day weekend, where I was a 3-day weekend was I was only working 4 days a week. And then my workouts continued to increase, and by that point I had to drop my hours down, where I was only working about 3 hours a day in the business, because I had cardio in the morning. I would work for about an hour on the business, and then I would be back in the gym for an hour or an hour and a half. And then by then I was so tired, I might work for another couple of hours based on if I had calls or something like that. And then I was spending the rest of the day on the couch, like watching YouTube, just because I was so tired. And it wasn't until I started thinking about that conversation that I had with my mentor that I was like, oh, check. Number one thing is in place. I set out, if I was where I wanted to be with my business, I would only be working a couple of hours a week. I'm working a couple of hours a week. Like I'm working at most 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. That's like 12 hours ish in a week, 12, maybe 15 at most. And I was like, wow. Like, and the way that it happened so quickly that I almost didn't notice it until I actually paid attention, because of a conversation I had with my husband. He was like, I want your job. He was like, because I was like, oh, it's Thursday, it's the weekend. He was like, I want your job. Thursday's the weekend for you. And I was like, yeah, like I'm in a position where I can only have to work a couple of hours a week. And then the next thing that I realized was that, well, income continued to increase. And I was like, wow, like revenue is continuing to come in. People are continuing to be attracted to what I do and sign up for courses and sign up for coaching. And it was like, as I continued to lose the weight and get closer and closer to my body goal, the revenue continued to increase and increase and increase. And that was the moment that I realized that nothing in your life is in a silo. Nothing. You can't just focus on getting the best relationship and let your health go and let your wealth go. You can't just focus on making the most money possible and let your health go and let your relationships go. You can't just focus on getting in the best health possible and let your relationships and your wealth go. Like, you need to have what you desire in the area of health, wealth, and relationships, and it is 100% possible. You 100% can create that, okay? That's my message. I truly believe you can create and design your very own version of a lavish life. Whatever you want, as long as you are willing to do these 3 steps that I'm about to share with you, you can have it, okay? So I want to share with you, let me go to the comments. Cami says, this is so true. If my business is where I want to be, I'll set out for higher heights again. That's a very good point. So we're always constantly reaching. Because let's say you have a goal, you set a goal and you reach that goal. Like, yeah, there's another goal that's coming. So I don't want you to think about, okay, well, if my business is where I want it to be, I'm just going to go for the next goal. I want you to think about when your business is where you want it to be, for that very first goal. What does the rest of your life look like? This was my very first goal for my body, getting on stage, right? My next goal is to be even more competitive and to take home first place. I love getting this. I actually was presented it by one of my someone I really look up to. And the funny thing is, so she's on my team, Team Dynasty. And I remember she had messaged me about four-ish weeks before the competition. And she was like, hey, how's everything going? And honestly, I was in bed at that moment on Instagram, like not wanting to get up. And so I was honest. I said, I'm in bed right now, contemplating, whether or not to get up and go do cardio. And she was like, go do it. This is where a lot of people give up. And this is where, champions are made. You got to push through this. And I was like, okay. And so then I got up, started getting ready, and I messaged her. I was like, are you going to be there? Are you going to be in Dallas? And she said, yeah, I'm going to be handing out awards, because she's already a pro. And so as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, okay, great. That's my visualization. I'm going to visualize myself on stage being handed an award by Afton. And guess who handed me my award? Afton. I was so excited when they called my name and she passed it to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I saw in my mind. And it's because you can create your life. Like, I can't say this enough. Yeah. Enjoy your fasted gym time. I have had many fasted gym sessions. So once again, don't just think about, okay, I get to my goal and then I'm going to want another goal. Like, yes, you're going to want another goal. But for that very first goal, what does everything else look like? Like for me, the very first goal was getting on stage. The very first goal was getting to a point where I wasn't constantly looking at the business and saying, I should be making more. I should be making more. And I'm at a point right now where I'm looking at it, I'm like, yes, this is great. And I'm at that first goal. But now I'm like, okay, now I got a higher goal, right? I've got another goal that I've already written on my board. And that's what I'm pushing for, even for the end of this year, even though we're already 7 months into the year. Like, I really don't care. I know that I can create whatever I want. And it doesn't matter how many months are left, how many weeks are left. We've got 5 days left in the month. I'm still a couple of $1,000 away from my goal for this month, but I really don't care. It doesn't matter. It only matters that you choose and you decide what you want. This is how you design your life. 3 simple steps to create exactly what you want in life is to choose, commit, and create. So you have to choose it. You have to decide, write down your goal, whatever it is for you. What I do every single day, hey, Angelia, every single day is I write down my goal. So this is just a simple notebook that I have. Okay, that's the back of it. Simple notebook. It says, yeah, yeah, yeah. I would have preferred for it to say yes, 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 because that's the noise of manifestation and bringing about what you want in your life. But it doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter. But I write my goal in there every single day. I write my goal down. I track my net worth because that is what I'm focusing on for this year is my net worth rather than just top line. I want to look at my personal net worth, not just the business. So I'm writing down my goal every single day. I'm tracking my net worth every single day. I'm tracking the sales that I've made in my business every single day. I track the sales for the previous day, the month to date, as well as the year to date, because I have a goal that I'm pushing towards. And like, I don't care if it feels big or if it feels far away. Like, I don't care. All I care is that that is what I have chosen. So whatever your goal is in the area of health or wealth or relationship, it does not matter how far away it feels. It only matters that that's what you want. And that's what you have chosen. That's how you design your very own version of a lavish life. It's what are you choosing? You have to choose. And in order to choose, you have to get really clear on it. Like, don't just say, I want to look good. Like, if I just said, I want to look good, like, I never would have got there, because what does that even mean? Like, get specific with it. What does it mean for you to have a business that you want? What's that number? What is that number that you're looking for as far as like weight wise? Like, I knew what my stage weight was going to be, and I actually beat that stage weight by 5 pounds. Likely because my June show got canceled and I had to compete in July. But it doesn't matter. What I knew, and I did the math on it, I knew what my stage weight needed to be in order for me to get down to a body fat percentage that was not only a healthy process from my starting point, because I started out at like 35% body fat. I knew what it needed to be so that I could do a healthy cut, so that I wouldn't quit, I wouldn't binge, I wouldn't like run off the rails. But I also had a number in mind. And the judges don't judge you based on how much you weigh or your body fat percentage, but I knew that based on where I hold my fat, that's where I needed to be. I needed to be at a low enough body fat percentage so that I could actually see some abs, because that's where I hold my fat. So be realistic, and then don't be realistic at the same time, because I have never done a 10-month, 9-month weight loss process. And so many people and professionals in the industry will tell you, you should never diet for 9 months. And I already knew that. So I knew that going in, but I did not care. I said, I don't care. If I need to eat more on a weekend, I will eat more. I really don't care. Like, I'm going to eat what I need to eat in order for me to be this weight. And I don't care about what else happens. And that's essentially where I am in my business also. I'm like, this is the number that I'm hitting, and I really don't care what anybody else has to say about why I might not be able to get there, or why I might need to do this, or why I might need to do sales calls, or, have, such and such program or whatever. I really don't care. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it with the courses that I want to do. I'm going to do it in an introvert friendly way. I'm going to sell what I want to sell. I'm going to do it at the price points that I want to sell it at, even though they might seem very low for some people, or some of my programs might seem very high for other people. It does not matter, because I am choosing. So that's the first thing, is that you have to choose for yourself. Choose for yourself. If you don't choose for yourself, you are allowing other people to choose for you. Everyone that you're watching on Instagram, everyone that you're watching on a live stream, everyone that you're watching on TV or YouTube or whatever, you are allowing them to choose for you, because you're paying attention to them without choosing for yourself. And it's so powerful when you finally choose for yourself, because then when you're doing what you need to do, you don't have to worry about looking at what they're doing and saying, oh, should I be doing that? Like, I was never tempted to do what anybody else was doing, because I knew that what I am doing is right for me. And just using a business example, is I have friends and colleagues who they're very much about doing sales calls and booking clients into high ticket programs, doing like high pressure sales, and just like really like that's how their business is running. And I was looking at them and I'm like, wow, like they're doing really well financially, and like I could do that in my business. And then I went back to what I know and what I chose, which is I choose to create a business that is 70% course and group coaching and only 30% high ticket. And because of that, I don't have to do sales calls. And that's how I structured my entire business. And so because I was grounded in what I chose, I didn't have to worry about feeling jealous or feeling a comparison, like comparing myself to them, because I know what I chose. Okay. Hey, Damien. Second thing that you have to do to create exactly what you want in life is to commit. You have to commit. If you choose what you want, but then the next day you change your mind, that's fine. But once you get clear on it and you're very clear on the outcome and what you want, don't change your mind because it gets hard. That means you haven't committed. You have to commit. Commit means doing everything no matter how hard it gets or what it takes. Excuse me. Sorry, I need to keep drinking my water. Hey, Whitney. Committing means doing exactly what you need to do and continuing to do it even when it gets hard, even when it gets frustrating, even when you feel like, oh, I don't want to keep going. Like, committing is doing it. Now, at the same time, because a lot of people feel like, okay, well, when I commit, I have to do everything 100% and everything 120% and give it my all. I will tell you this. There were some days I lost 30 pounds over the span of that 9-month time frame. There were some days when I wanted to give up. There were days when I was like, screw it. I'm going to the store and I'm going to get a Nutrageous bar and peanut M&Ms and a bag of combos, and I ate them all. I'm just being honest with you, okay? So committing doesn't mean that you're perfect. Committing means that you stay the course, even if you get off track. Like, it's okay to sidestep just a little bit and do what you need to do so that you'll stay on track. I knew that was going to, maybe bring me back from the 100% best that I could have done. I knew it. But I also knew that if I didn't sit down with a bag of combos, peanut M&Ms, and a Nutrageous bar, that I was just going to quit the whole thing. And so your commitment, everyone's commitment comes in different flavors. For me, it means allowing myself a little bit of grace. And I knew that I had a long haul. I knew I had a long process. And I was like, okay, well, today I just need some M&Ms. And then we moved a lot closer, and that was a little bit further out from show date. So that was like, I think I did something like that, like February, March. And then as we got closer and I got a clean diet, my cravings started to go away a lot more. And then at that point, I had a couple of days where I was like, I want some extra freaking rice cakes. and I made like extra, like imagine binging on rice cakes. I had like 3 extra rice cakes, put a little bit of almond butter on them with some, a little bit of extra salt, even though I wasn't supposed to be having so much salt. I was like, I need all these rice cakes. And so like the commitment wasn't, I'm going to be perfect, because you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We are humans, and that's okay. But the commitment is staying the course. Okay. So for me, that meant figuring out what I need to do so that I didn't do that again. Like, okay, well, that means that I might need to make sure that I am eating at my specific times. So when you start getting really lean, you really have to stick to your eating schedule. So I was eating at 9, 12, 3, 5, and 8. And if I didn't eat, like if it was 5 o'clock and it was time to eat and I waited until 6 o'clock, I was more likely to eat more, because as long as you're constantly feeding your body, your hunger signals are like, suppressed, and then your sleep, and you don't really know your hunger signals, even though I was waking up hungry a lot of times. But like I said, I didn't care because I chose. So I was like, okay, in order for me to not, binge on rice cakes, which are like, taste like paper. They're not that good, but it was like, that was my thing at that point. But my point is, in all of this, is that you have to commit. Okay. So committing doesn't mean be perfect. It means to stay the course no matter what. Okay. If that means you get off track just a little bit, that's fine, but get right back on track. Don't cry about it. Don't try to make up for it the next day by like not eating as much, and I'm not really talking about diet and stuff, and but just in general, I didn't try to get back on it the next day by like cutting out, but I just kept going. Okay. I was like, okay, that's just a blip. I'm just going to keep moving. Okay. And it was. And then the third step is to create, and that means take action. So what is your action step? If like for me, I knew I wanted to get on stage and I committed to getting on stage, my action step was hiring a coach, period. It wasn't me doing it on myself and then saying, oh, this is too hard, because it got very, very hard at the end. It got very hard around April, May, like screw June. June was like, and it was my birthday month too. I was so frustrated because I wanted to be able to, I had planned to get on stage 2 days after my birthday so that I could have birthday cake that weekend. And like when my show got moved to July, I was like, now I got to diet for 4 more weeks. I have to stay on track for 4 more weeks. Like this is just ridiculous. And that's why I chose to hire a coach, because I committed. So when you're ready to create and design your lavish life, you have to choose what you want. You have to commit to it, and then you have to create, meaning take action. Take action in the direction of your goal. For me, that was hiring a coach, getting accountability. If you don't believe in yourself, then don't hire a coach. But if you do believe in yourself and you do believe you will take the actions that are necessary to get the results that you want, then you need that accountability. You need that support, and you need somebody in your corner, not only helping you along the way, but pulling out of you what's already inside of you. So a coach, a really good coach, is not there to like give you all the answers. They're there to help you see what's already inside of you. And it's the reason that I use this analogy all the time, but a surgeon, a top level surgeon, will still not operate on themselves. Okay. So even though you're hiring a coach, it doesn't make you any less of a person. I have coaches, I have mentors, but I know that I'm not in a position to perform surgery on myself. Even as good as I am as talking about manifestation and helping you create your life and design your own version of a lavish life, like I still need a mentor for me, because I'm ready to go to a higher level and I need someone that can help me get there. And that's why I hire a coach. I hire mentors. I'm invested in a mentor just recently for a program that I just cannot wait to get started. And it was a significant investment, but I believe in myself and I take action as the next version of me, not as the current version of me. I take action as the person who's already assured, who's already confident, who's already there. And that's how I get there. Okay. Team Gemini. Oh, awesome, Ganawai. So glad to have you here. He said today's my first day, but it's really so awesome. Good. Glad to have you here. Okay, second piece that I wanted to share, why your subconscious mind could be holding you back and how to get it to work with you and not against you. I talk about this a lot with my clients. And I really dig deep with my private clients and whenever I'm doing live coaching programs. But you could go through all of those steps. You could choose, you could commit, you could take action, and you could still not see the results that you want to see. Okay. And the reason behind that is that mentally you want one thing. So consciously, your awake mind, you want one thing, but subconsciously you believe in something else, or you believe you can only have another thing. So the way that this works, and just to keep it very, very simple, my subconscious mind is what is allowing me to breathe. Like, I'm not thinking, breathe in, breathe out, breathe. Like, I'm breathing, I'm talking, I'm moving my hands. My, blood has been flowing through, my heart's pounding, my brain is, doing all, that's all subconscious. I'm not consciously thinking about that. I don't have to say, move your arm for my arm to move. It's just subconscious. My conscious mind is reading the notes, and I'm like, okay, read those notes. When I get into like going into a flow, a lot of that is coming through like subconsciously. Like, I honestly don't remember what I said like 15 or 20 minutes ago. Which is why sometimes I rewatch my live streams, because I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. Wow. I just like get into the flow, get into the groove. You know how they say when the spirit moves you, like I just kind of get into it. But what happens sometimes is what happened to me at the start of 2019, where my conscious mind said, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And my subconscious mind said, no, you're not. You're not ready. You're not worthy. You could never get there. You could never see abs. You've never seen abs. You don't hold your body fat the way that other women do. You're naturally thicker here. You are, you don't have the time. Like, all of those doubts, all of those fears, all of those subconscious beliefs that are right below the surface, that's what will cause you to sabotage your results. And that's what happened for me, because as soon as I got that body fat scan that showed me that I was further away than I thought I was. So for those of you who just joined, I got a body fat scan. I started dieting at the start of 2019, got a body fat scan in June of 2019, realized I was further away than I wanted to be, ate my way through the summer, and then finally hired a coach in October 1st so that I could get on stage by June of 2020. So as soon as I got that body fat scan, all those subconscious beliefs were like, see, I told you. And that's when the rest of the summer, I just ate my way through the summer. And so it wasn't until I got my conscious mind, my subconscious mind to get on the same page so that I could actually have results and lock those results in, especially for right now, because right now is a very, very difficult time. Like I said before, this process right after the show is called a reverse diet. And there's so many competitors who diet down for a show. They don't reverse diet. They allow their hunger signals to get the better of them. And then they end up putting all that weight back on faster in more stubborn areas, because your body is like, oh, we were starving, so now let's save ourselves. And the next time is even harder to dig out. And so right now is a very difficult time, but I have subconscious beliefs that are working in conjunction with my conscious beliefs, so that even though I was starving like an hour or so ago, I still ate my chicken, my rice, my broccoli, and I put some mustard on it. I put a little bit of extra salt on it to, kind of help me just a little bit. And I drank my water, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go do my training. And so if your subconscious mind is holding you back, it's because you have some beliefs that are below the surface. Now, we're already about 45 minutes into this training. I would love to dig deeper into that, and maybe I'll do a full training, like a live stream training. I've done some YouTube videos on it. But there are ways to figure out what are the subconscious blocks for you. And when I get on the phone with a client, we literally can figure out a subconscious block in like less than 15 minutes. So I typically do my little, either clarity call sessions or virtual intensives or whatever. And I schedule them for around 25 minutes. I was just on the phone the other day. Within 15 minutes, we had identified the subconscious block. And so identifying it is one thing, but then putting a process in place to reconfigure it, that's another thing. And that's where my coaching comes in, and how I help my clients, and how we actually continue to work together. Because yes, we can identify it, you can figure it out, you can say, okay, I'm going to do better, but the belief is still there. So we've got to take action to start putting it into practice and taking some specific steps. Okay. The final thing that I want to share is how to create your own manifestation process. I did an entire YouTube video on this, so I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly because I feel like I've shared everything that I wanted to share today, with the exception of one other thing. And my thumb got stuck. I'm just very excited because I finally got my nails done again. I had done them for show day with like diamonds and stuff, and every time I like touched my hair or moved something, things were getting caught. I couldn't like rub my eye because then this nail was in the way. So I'm just very happy and thankful that I got my nails done. Hey Zara. So final piece is how to create your manifestation process. Oh, don't forget my trophy too. I brought it out. I have it beside my bed because my next goal is much bigger and it's going to require much more from me. And every night before I go to sleep, that is beside me because I loved getting this the very first time I got on stage. But I'm very competitive and third place is not enough for me. So I'm thankful and I'm very happy with what I've done and I love having the medals. But if you're like me, then you know that we don't just stop at third place. We don't stop at just good enough. We go all the way. And that's where I'm going next. So I have that beside my bed to like remind me to have my, keep my head in the game and make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do and staying on track. Hey, Jill. Thank you. So the final thing I wanted to talk about is how to create your own manifestation process. Repeating the question that you need to ask yourself. I talked about this a little bit earlier, which is if your business was where you wanted it to be, what would the rest of your life look like? So because I specifically talk about helping you with your business, with marketing, so I'm going to start from there. If you're, helping people in health, then maybe you would start from there. But for me, especially since I'm starting to work with clients on a more holistic level so that you can attract whatever you want in any area of your life. If your business was where you wanted it to be, what would your health look like? What would your day look like? What would your relationships look like? Write all of that out, okay? And lock that in and start to choose it. And part of creating your own manifestation process is step one, choosing it, but also look at what areas of your life come easy for you and how did you get there? So when I first decided to, and if you haven't watched on YouTube, go watch my video on how I manifested my husband. If you haven't watched that video, what I realized was that there were areas of my life that came easy for me. And so after I manifested my husband, I was like, oh, that was how I did that with him. Now I want to do that with business and money. So let me just take those things that I did over there and do them over here. And so I did that for my business and money, and that started working well. And then I was like, oh, okay, so that's what I did there. And that's what I did with manifesting my husband. Now let me apply that to my body because I have body goals. Excuse me. And so what pieces of that, like what do I actually do? What is my manifestation process so that I can bring into my life everything that I want? For me, and the way that I did it with my body, with my husband, with, my business, is choosing a goal that feels, it feels out of reach, honestly. I don't do really well with like safe goals. Okay. Like if right now, if I were like, I want to make sure we do $250,000 this year in the business. Like that's a safe goal. Cause that's like we're already there. We're already on track for that. Like it doesn't get me excited. Right. So I have to first choose a goal that feels a little bit out of reach. Then from there, my next step is releasing it and letting go, and then saying, okay, but something even better could come. So how am I going to be surprised and delighted? That's my manifestation process. My manifestation process is choosing an outsized goal, letting it go, and then like living the rest of my life and saying, how am I going to be surprised and delighted when it comes? And then doing the stuff to like enjoy the in-between time. So for example, when I was in the process of manifesting my husband, I was like, I'm going to be married soon. So like, what would I do if like, what am I going to do for my last single days? And I enjoyed myself. I went out with friends. I filled my time. I started, working on the blog, the business. I had a blog at the time. And I just filled my time and I just had so much fun. And that fun vibe was part of what actually attracted him. So I knew that for my body goals was the same way. I was like, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to get there. And so I'm going to be surprised and delighted at how I look. Stage is going to be amazing. I'm going to have so much fun. Like, what am I going to do in the meantime? Like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to drop my hours in the business. Like, I'm going to have, more space and time in my day. That's a great question. I do offer mindset coaching. And that actually can take us right into what I wanted to share with you guys today, which is the program that I am opening up. I didn't pull it up on the page, so let me open it up right now. So over the next couple of months, over the next 90 days, and we're going to be starting in just a couple of weeks on August 10th. Okay. I'm going to take several women and potentially men, because I've actually been getting a lot of sales lately from men through some of my funnels, which is interesting to me. But over the next 90 days, I'm going to be taking several women, men through this journey, through this process of creating and designing your own version of a lavish life. Now, we are going to do it inside of my automated sales incubator, which is a structured program that helps you in marketing and in your business. So for the most part, where I can really help my clients is with their marketing, with their business, like pulling all that stuff together. So we're going to be focusing on that, but a lot of what we're going to be doing is going to be in the area of mindset. We're going to be talking about alignment. Like, are you really in alignment with what you're doing, what you want to do, what you want to bring into the world? Also talking about, if that's the case, then how would you be showing up? What should you be speaking about and talking about to clients? Hey, Cheryl, thank you. What should you be speaking about and talking about to clients? How do you specifically need to write your own copy? Like, getting really good at that and having your voice really come through. And during the process, the live calls that we do are going to be more centered on like this type of stuff, like focused on mindset, that alignment piece, and really helping you to get attractive and be attractive in all areas of your life. And in particular, focusing on the business. If I were a health coach, I would say we're focusing on health, and I'm going to help you get where you want to be in every area of your life. But I'm essentially a business coach. That's what I do. I'm a marketing consultant. And so I can help you create more income and wealth in your life. And that's what we're going to do. But we're going to do it in this program from a holistic point of view. Oh, cool. Jill says, if you need a coach to help you get clients, hire LaTisha. I just booked 5 clients, $7,500 in sales from strategies she taught me. Yay! I'm super excited to hear that, Jill. And Jill is actually also a graduate from the Automated Sales Incubator. She went through that program. She's also a graduate of You've Got Clients, and we've worked together a couple of times. So I'm really, really excited to hear that. And that's part of what I always, like when I talk to new potential clients, a lot of times they're focused on, what am I going to get right now out of this program? And like, you're going to get a lot out of this current program, but even more so is what you're able to do going forward. And if you see in my tagline on my website where I'm like, I create 6 and 7 figure earners, it's not just because we do one program and then you like suddenly make $1 million. It's because I teach you the strategies, the mindset that you need, all the systems that you need so that you can put those things in place, not just for right now, but also for going forward. So I'm super excited about that. All right. If there are any questions, I don't see any other questions. I know there's a little bit of a delay. If there are any other questions that you have, just message me on, message the page on Facebook. So if you message the page on Facebook, it still comes to me. It comes to my phone. All roads lead to my phone, which is why I have to like put it down certain parts of the day, because otherwise I'll just be on it all day. So just message the Facebook page. And it's better than messaging my personal profile, because I do not check my Facebook personal page anymore. It's a hot mess. I don't like Facebook. I don't like all the notifications that come in. I don't even add my personal page into the student groups that I admin anymore. I just add my business page, because the notifications they just drive me mad. So yeah, don't message me on the personal page. If I could delete it, I would, but I have to have it in order to admin the page. So just message the business page if you have questions, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at LaTisha Styles TV. Yeah, Facebook is a beast. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys inside of the Automated Sales Incubator. I'll be sending out some more information on it over the next couple of days leading up to when we get started on August 10th. I launch this twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. So I opened the doors in March, or February, and then we had it in March, and we had clients come through. The incubator has a 100% success rate. When you come through there, you will have your sales funnel done, and you'll be confident enough to make sales. Like Jill said, she came out of it, she made $7,500 in sales. It like easily pays for the investment many times over. And so this is the last time I'm launching it this year. So if you want to join and you want to get help with me for this 90-day program, for the rest of the year, we'll likely be doing, I'll be opening like courses here and there, and I might do another live program. But if you want to get live coaching with me, this is your opportunity. So I would look forward to seeing you guys in there. If there's any other questions, just message me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.